Hey everyone, Jeff Corwin here. Today let's talk about rattlesnake roundups, events that look like fun festivals but hide a much darker reality. These are most common in Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and Alabama, where hunters capture as many rattlesnakes as possible and bring them to a central event. What started as a way for early settlers to protect their families and livestock has become a large-scale festival, complete with carnivals and contests. But the main event is always the mass capture and display of wild rattlesnakes. While these roundups are rooted in local tradition, they're not about conservation or science. They're commercial events built on the mass killing of native wildlife. Hunters are paid by the pound, encouraging the capture of as many snakes as possible, regardless of age or sex. This puts huge pressure on local snake populations and turns a wild animal into a commodity. It's time to question our relationship with wildlife and the impact of these events. Traditions matter, and fear of snakes is real, but with knowledge, we can find better ways to coexist. In this video we'll explore what really happens at these roundups, their impact on snakes and the environment, and why we need more compassionate science-based solutions. Let's shed light on the dark side of rattlesnake roundups. Together, we can make a positive change for our wild world. So, let's dive in and see what's really at stake. Are these events truly necessary, or is it time for something better? Let's find out. Picture a county fair, but with a pit full of rattlesnakes as the main attraction. Hunters bring in snakes by the sackful, dumping them into open enclosures for the crowd to gawk at. Handlers, often untrained, perform stunts and show off the snakes, turning fear into entertainment. Prizes go to the biggest and heaviest snakes, fueling the competition. One of the most disturbing events is the snake sacking contest. Participants rush to stuff agitated snakes into bags, causing chaos and stress for the animals. Demonstrations on skinning and killing snakes are common, with meat and skins sold as souvenirs. Even venom is milked, often in unsanitary, stressful conditions. For the snakes, it's a nightmare. Captured, transported in crowded containers, and forced into a noisy, hostile environment. They're poked, prodded, and displayed as props, not living creatures. The stress and injuries are immense, and even those released rarely survive. The roundup is a terrifying, often fatal journey for every snake involved. What looks like harmless fun is actually a spectacle of suffering. The reality is far from family-friendly. It's time to question if this is the kind of tradition we want to continue. There's a better way. The cruelty of rattlesnake roundups starts long before the festival. Most snakes are captured by gassing their dens with gasoline, forcing them out and causing severe burns, respiratory damage, and often death. This method harms not just snakes, but any animal sharing the den. Captured snakes are kept in crowded, filthy containers for days or weeks, without food or water. Injuries, dehydration, and starvation are common. By the time they reach the event, many are already sick or dying. At the roundup, snakes are thrown into pits, kicked, and handled roughly for the crowd's amusement. Killing is often done by decapitation, a method that leaves the snake's brain active and likely in pain for minutes after. Even snakes that are released rarely survive. They're weakened, diseased, and often dumped far from their home territory. The claim of humane release is mostly a myth. Roundups are a death sentence for nearly every snake involved. The suffering is immense, and the cruelty is undeniable. This isn't wildlife management. It's needless brutality. We can do better. It's time to end this cycle of suffering. Let's choose compassion. Rattlesnake roundups don't just harm snakes, they disrupt entire ecosystems. Rattlesnakes are vital for controlling rodent populations, which helps prevent crop damage and the spread of diseases like Lyme. Removing thousands of snakes leads to rodent explosions, harming both agriculture and public health. Gassing dens kills not only snakes but also tortoises, owls, rabbits, and insects, while contaminating soil and water. Roundups target the biggest, healthiest snakes, key breeders, weakening the population and risking local extinction. When predators disappear, the whole food web suffers, biodiversity declines, and habitats are thrown out of balance. The environmental cost is huge and often irreversible. These events are not just cruel, they're ecologically reckless. Protecting rattlesnakes means protecting the health of our landscapes. We all pay the price when nature is out of balance. Why do these events persist? Tradition, fear, economics, and lack of awareness. For many, roundups are a cherished part of local heritage, a time for community and celebration. Fear of snakes is real, and roundups are promoted as public safety measures. Organizers exaggerate the threat, painting rattlesnakes as monsters to justify the event. Economically, roundups bring in tourists and revenue for small towns. Hunters earn money, and local businesses benefit. Challenging roundups means challenging both tradition and income, making change difficult. Most attendees don't see the cruelty or ecological damage, they see a festival, they trust the event is run responsibly, and don't know the science. Education is key. When people learn the truth, many reconsider their support. Change starts with understanding. We need to share the facts. Only then can we move forward. We don't have to choose between safety and cruelty. There are better ways to coexist with rattlesnakes. Prevention is key. Be aware in snake country, wear boots and never try to handle a snake. Make your yard less attractive by clearing brush and controlling rodents. Seal up holes to keep both snakes and their prey out of your home. If you find a rattlesnake, call humane removal services instead of killing it. Professionals can safely relocate snakes to wild areas where they belong. Killing snakes is a short-term fix. Another will take its place if the habitat remains. Long-term safety comes from understanding snake behavior and taking simple precautions. Coexistence is possible, and it's better for everyone. Respect and education, not eradication, are the answer. We can keep our families safe and protect wildlife at the same time. It's a win-win. Education is our best tool against fear and misinformation. Rattlesnakes aren't aggressive, they're defensive, using their rattle as a warning, not a threat. Bites are rare and almost never fatal. Most happen when people try to handle or kill snakes. You're more likely to be struck by lightning than bitten by a rattlesnake. These animals are marvels of evolution, with heat-sensing pits and venom being studied for medical breakthroughs. When we understand their true nature, it's hard to justify their slaughter. Education should start in schools and communities, using live animal ambassadors and accurate information. Replace fear with respect and cruelty with curiosity. Knowledge changes minds and saves lives. Let's teach the truth about rattlesnakes. It's time to end the myths. Change doesn't mean losing tradition, it means transforming it. Some towns have already replaced cruel roundups with wildlife festivals focused on conservation and education. These events feature expert talks, art contests, and family activities, celebrating nature instead of conquering it. Live snakes are handled by professionals for education, not entertainment. Wildlife festivals attract new visitors, families, hikers, and nature lovers, boosting the local economy. Communities can build a reputation for valuing their natural heritage and promoting ecotourism. Change starts with a few voices and grows with community support. Conservation groups can help guide the transition. It's not easy, but it's possible and rewarding. By honoring heritage and protecting wildlife, towns can create a brighter future. Let's help more communities make the switch. We've seen the reality of rattlesnake roundups, the cruelty, the ecological damage, and the traditions that keep them alive, but we're also in an era of greater understanding and compassion. Wildlife isn't an endless resource. We can't keep removing animals without consequences. The loss of rattlesnakes unravels ecosystems and threatens biodiversity. Protecting them is about stewardship, not just kindness. How we treat misunderstood creatures reflects our values as a society. Ending roundups means choosing compassion, education, and conservation. Change is already happening. More communities are transforming their events. We need to keep educating, supporting, and speaking out. Together, we can consign roundups to history. Let's create traditions of respect, not cruelty. A future where humans and rattlesnakes thrive is possible. Thanks for joining me. Let's make a difference.